You need to let these brothers heal first. Now, you just found you a brother, just got out of a relationship, fresh out of a relationship. As a matter of fact, they're barely out. They got 1 foot out of the relationship, and you thinking to yourself, well, hey, he's single enough. And so here you go trying to hit yourself to this man, hit yourself to this brother right here. And yes, I know it goes both ways, but I understand it from my perspective as a man. I know that when you continue to position yourself in these relationships with us fellas who are fresh out of relationship, we ain't done the healing yet. We ain't let that relationship completely go. We ain't processed it. And I know they think, we're some kind of different non-human entity that doesn't need to go through a healing process. But guess what? We do. I know upwards to this point in history, we have treated ourselves like, we ain't got no emotions. We ain't got no feelings. No, we do. We just have learned how to mask them over time. We've learned how to repress and suppress on a daily basis in order to put on this facade or this masquerade of what a man is supposed to be. And so we go through life with these wounds, open wounds, completely open wounds. And you wonder why, oh man, he's so emotionally unavailable. He's not emotionally unavailable. What he is wounded. What he is untrusting, because relationship after relationship has showed him that, oh man, you just can't trust nobody. Not understanding that his trust issues stem from his own childhood. What he saw in his household, the things that he witnessed, the things that he engaged with, maybe the promises that were broken continuously to him as a child, whatever it may have been, started to manifest in his relationships. And so he hasn't even got to a place where he completely knows himself yet. I know this without a shadow of a doubt. I didn't know myself until this point in my life. This is when I am finally coming to an understanding of who I truly am. And I did not allow myself to breathe. It's like I got out of a relationship. Now I'm finding myself all in another relationship. Well, I just got out. Okay, I'm finally going to take this time to me. I'm finally, you know what I mean? Get things solidified. And when most of us think of like taking time on ourselves or like chilling off relationship, we're really thinking like, all right, let me get back to these streets. Let me run these streets real quick. Let me do. But never really actually do the healing. And again, it's not your job as this person's partner. It's not your job as, a woman walking into their life, a man walking to wherever you are walking to this man's life. It ain't your job. It's not your position. It's not your prerogative. Your job is to go work on you. Your job is to go do your healing. Because maybe you just got out of a relationship and you know good and damn well that thing ain't purged out of you. You know that the last 6 relationships have not truly been purged out of you. You know that the last 30 years of living are still in you. You have not dealt with that internal wound. You have not dealt with that innermost hurt. You have not come to a state of wholeness from that place of brokenness. I don't know what we think we're going to get in these situations. I don't understand what we think the result is going to be. And then we become disappointed. Bruh's still in this whole situation, got this whole fiasco, but you think you just going to insert yourself and then everything is going to be magical, like you're the fairy godmother or something like that. No, you're not. No, you're not. There are no Cinderella slippers in this story. You are not saving anybody. The pumpkin is going to stay a pumpkin. Won't be a carriage in this story. You got to get yourself out of this fantasy mentality that you're about to go and save this man and save the day. And, oh, I know he's broken. We talked about his brokenness. And then his brokenness turned you on. Now, you wouldn't admit it. I've seen this before. When I told a tragic story about myself or about a past relationship or something that happened in a past relationship, homegirl immediately, oh, eyes got big and wide. I was like, oh, no, nope. Not that. Not the savior complex kicking in to save the day. No. Because I know better now, right? But the old me would have used that probably as, yeah, I'm a little wounded, whatever, distant enough to keep, distant enough to let you in, but not completely. Like you in the house, but you not next to me. Like you on the other couch. That type situation, that sort of distance, literally. So you wonder why, oh man, I can't believe this relationship. It's like he's not really there. It's like he's not really committed. He doesn't even know who he is. Like he hasn't even processed his life for the last 30, 40 years. He does not know who he is. He does not understand the depths of these wounds that perpetuate as his life experience. What do you think you're going to get out of that situation? Sis, what do you think you're going to get out of it? Leave in the comment section immediately. What do you think you're going to get out of a situation when you meet a man who is fresh out of a relationship and you jump right into one? In the same way, what do you think you're going to get when you're right out of a relationship and you don't give yourself time to breathe? You don't even give yourself a little bit of oxygen. You just dive right back into it. And I promise you this, what you are getting out of it is hiding from the inner work. That's what you're getting. Both of y'all are getting that. Because I was the same way. When I was diving into these relationships back to back to back, oh man, it was a good place to hide. Oh, finally I can find me a good place to park myself and just drown. Forget about anything that may be trying to surface. Forget about all of those emotional indicators that are trying to censor themselves or show themselves to indicate that there's something internal that I must address. Nah, we ain't going to do that. We're going to bury our heads in the sand. That's what we're going to do. And so, I don't say this message from a place of like persecution or like shame on you. Stop doing this. I'm saying, bruh, look at this from a place of common sense. Look at this from a place of common. Y'all are smart. Don't give me, don't, oh man. I hate when people show up and, they like to act dumb sometimes. You smart. Like, let's be real. You comprehend. You just don't want to see what you're seeing. You just allow your desperation, right? Or your own wounds to lead the way. Oh, he's broken. This is the one for me. That's what you think subconsciously. Oh man, if only I could find me a man who I could just fix up and take care of and clean him up. And like my brother, like as my brother says, like, are you running a homeless shelter? You know what I mean? Are you running a homeless shelter? If that's what you're doing for a living, go right ahead and do it. If that's the business that you're into, that's the charity that you got going on, go right ahead. But unless that's what you're doing, then ask yourself, what am I doing? Why am I allowing myself to get myself into these situationships, these predicaments where I know I'm going to end up hurt? Because I already set an expectation on them to be different or do certain things, which is already skewed, right? Just setting an expectation on a human being is already flawed. We're supposed to set them on ourselves and our own lives, not on the other person, right? Because usually the people we set them on are people who are trying to be removed from our lives anyway. But we force it and we push it and we try and we try again. We do this and we do that and we try to make it fit any way that we can, even though it ain't fitting. It's like you have a wrong key for a door and you're still trying to work it. Like, no, it's not going to work. That's not the key for that door. That's not the key for that door. So now you're going to remove the whole knob. Now you're going to try to remove the hinges off. Now you're doing the most. Now you're trying to take the whole door off, as opposed to admitting that you don't have the right key and going to get the right key. Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? I ask myself that frequently, just to me, like, T, what are you doing? What are you actually doing? What are you actually doing here? What is the intention? What is the motive? Like the true motive, right? Because I will tell myself, well, I'm doing this because, I just have such a deep love for this person and care. But really it's, I run to those I have to fix in order to feel adequate. That's the actual intention. That's my motivation. My motivation is not always what I tell myself it is. It's not always my justification. So motivation and justification usually go hand in hand. I justify what my motive is in order for me to do the thing that I know is going to end up being a whole mess anyway. End up being chaos in the first place. And then I'm going to act all surprised and how this thing just fell apart and how they were so terrible. Now I'm going to be calling them all kinds of narcissists and making content and posting stories about them instead of just admitting that I jumped into a situation because I was desperate. I believe that I could not get anything better, right? Because I believe that I am not deserving of better. Those are the things we have to address, folks. That's what we have to start facing. And I know it's not the easiest conversations to have, but it's the most necessary and it's the ones that lead to the most healing. As a matter of fact, it's the only conversation that leads to true transcendence, true healing, to get to a place where we are whole or remember that we're whole, right? It's a place where we address those shadow aspects that we've ignored, neglected, denied, kicked into a corner for so long. And finally just face them and say, you know what? I'm operating from a place of hurt. I'm operating from a place of woundedness, brokenness. I'm not doing this with a pure intention, as I believe. I'm not bad for it. I'm not wrong for it. But I am misguided. I'm misdirected. That's what I may be. And that's okay. I know I'm doing my best. I know I know there's work to be done, of course. And it's not work to dread. It's not cumbersome. It's not, I mean, it can be heavy. It can be emotionally taxing, but on the other side is freedom, right? When you're cutting those chains off of yourself, you might sometimes go through an arduous process, but once the chain is off, you feel relief. Eventually you'll feel relief. Maybe at first it feels weird because you've been so used to having them, around your limbs. But as soon as you chop them off, you feel this sense of relief at first, and then you think, whoa, that's weird. I don't have this thing constricting my neck or constricting my hands and my legs. I can move freely. And first you might be terrified by it, which a lot of people are. You get to this place where you are doing the work and you experience peace for the first time in context of a relationship, right? And you think to yourself, oh, something might be wrong here. Something might be off here. Is there something I'm missing? Because something feels like it's missing. But then you come to realize that, no, this is how it was always supposed to be. This is normal. Or as, Earl would say, these are the basics, honey. So we really got to get to that place. Really got to get to a place where we're asking ourselves honest questions as opposed to running from those questions. Because, life is always leading us towards expansion, towards growth, towards higher expression of ourselves. It's not leading us in this, misguided place. It's us who resist life and try to go back or try to hold on to or operate from that egoic mind. Egoic, for anybody who might have been wondering what is egoic, right? The ego mind is the egoic mind, or what I refer to as the egoic mind. The mind that was cultivated, or the part of us that was cultivated in order to protect us, quote unquote, right? It is the fear-based aspect of self that manifests itself in that way. So yeah, we just really got to start getting back to a place of genuine, authentic, honest self-conversation. And then we'll be able to easily have it with one another, of course, but it matters most to have it with ourselves on a daily basis, regularly. I talk to myself all day long, and I'm doing my best to have as honest a dialogue as I can about myself, and it's liberating and it's freeing. At first, again, it feels taxing because it's different. It's new, right? It's not the way you're used to operating. But once those shackles start to, again, get severed off, life is sweet on that other side. Every time. It's always worth it. Anyway, before I dip, guilt-free plug of my first published book, Doing Me Guilt-Free. Boom, there it is right there, paperback version. Got the biggie version back there, but this one right here is the one you're going to want. It's the one you can carry with you everywhere you go. Now, this book right here is The Breaking Free from People-Pleasing and Unleashing Your True Personal Power. But when most people see people-pleasing, they think, oh, that's just a certain subgroup of people. No. Every single one of us has an inherent people pleaser. The aspect of us that makes us feel powerless is the people pleaser. So we really want to get ourselves to break free from those people pleasing habits, behaviors, characteristics, ways of thought, and get to a place of true personal power. And that's the intention. And honestly, that's what you're going to get when you dig into this one. So make sure to get yourself a copy by clicking the link in the description below, or pinned in the top of the comment section. It's going to be there as well. So appreciate you guys. I'm about to bounce. Got to go edit some content. About to go do some writing. I'm just like giving over to my deepest loves, and it's a beautiful thing. It really is. This is what's on the other side, by the way. You get to live a life that is actually real to you and do the things that you love. Guilt-free. Shameless plug. Guilt-free plug. Yeah. Anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you. Peace.